Hey friends, Hattie here from Honeybee Stampers. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and in today's video I am going to be doing the actual video tutorial for the May 2022 Sweet and Simple card class. The Sweet and Simple card class is an event that I hold at my studio here in Sumter, South Carolina each month, and we create 6 really beautiful projects, easy to put together, and then I like to do a video tutorial to share with those who actually order these kits to go. So the kit to go includes all of the pieces that you need to create these 6 projects right here. And then this is the tutorial that you would watch to be able to recreate them. Now, the way that I've designed the projects is always keeping in mind that maybe the person who's receiving the kit does not have all of the product that I'm featuring. So I try to cut as much as I can, emboss as much as I can, do everything that I can so that when you get the kit in your hands, you can actually use product that you already have to be able to complete the projects in a way that they look beautiful and maybe not exactly as I've done it, but very similar. So let's get started with these make and takes. These are the cards here, and I'm just going to grab one bucket after the other and just start creating for you. Before we get started, actually, let me mention that all of the stamp sets or the bundles that I'm going to be featuring are coming from the mini catalog that runs from January to June of 2022. So this catalog is going to be retiring really soon. And Stampin' Up! Actually just released the retirement list, which means they tell us all of the product that's in this catalog that will not be carrying over into the next catalog. So that's always a sad thing, but you have an opportunity still to get your favorites if you'd like them before they are gone for good. And what I've realized from the last few retirement lists is once that retirement list is posted, a lot of times the product sells out. So it's while supplies last. So if you see something that you love, make sure you grab it as soon as you can. And I'll share a link to where you can actually shop in my online store and purchase the products that you see me using today. So let's start with this first card here. This first card features the Flowing Flowers stamp set. This is a stamp set that came alone. It didn't have a bundle or anything included with it. Let me just move a few things around on my desk so I can get to the product. Okay, so you would get a packet that looks like this. These little flowers won't be in there. I actually stamped them ahead of time so that I wouldn't take too much time doing any fussy cutting on the video. So you would just fold your card base in half. Okay. And this is stitched with whimsy that adds that beautiful detail to the inside of the card as well as the outside. And I've actually already done that for you, so you don't have to own that die cut if you didn't want to, even though it's a really good one to have. And I believe that one is not retiring, so you will have time to purchase it if you wanted to at a later date. Okay, let's start with some stamping. I always recommend stamping the sentiment first, and we're going to use Soft Succulent. Stamp the sentiment first so that you know where you have room to actually do the rest of your stamping. So let's see here. There's nothing worse than stamping your flowers and doing this great job on that and then have your sentiment not fit. So we're going to use a technique where you take your Stampin' Right markers. So these are not our our Stampin' blends, which are the alcohol-based markers. These are not those. These are the dye-based markers that you're going to use to create, you're going to color your stamp. Now, I had a class recently, and sometimes if people use wipes, you know, like baby wipes to clean your stamps, which is, you can absolutely do that. What will happen is they'll leave like this film of white. So I forgot to go through and make sure that all my stamps were good, but you can easily just wipe it off on, this is our Simply Chamois. The Simply Chamois is a better tool to use to clean your stamps. Okay, so we're going to take what I perceive as the lighter color, the pink here, and this is the brush tip end because it has the thicker band. This is the Stampin' Right end, right, with the thinner. And you're just going to go, and when you add the color, you always want to kind of add the color with the marker on its side. So you never want to color this way because that will really ruin the tip of your marker. So I'm just going to go in here and add some color where I want it to be pink. And this pink is called Polished Pink. So we'll add that. And then you'll see that there's some leaves here. We're gonna grab our soft succulent marker. So there is a marker for every ink pad color that we have. Okay, and this is a great technique that you can use with those markers. Okay, now once I've done that, you can kind of huff on it and give it a little bit of some moist heat there, moist air, and stamp straight down. What that huffing does, it actually reactivates the ink in case some of it has dried, and then you can stamp right on your paper. Now, I also recommended that everybody take some of the scrap paper that we had laying around and stamp the smaller image. Using the polished pink as well. So they just stamp the smaller image on a piece of scrap paper like so, and then fussy cut the two flowers out. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you that I've already fussy cut those flowers. You saw that when I emptied out the packet. Okay, and then we're just gonna apply that to the card front using Stampin' Dimensionals. But before we do that, let me go ahead and add this to my soft succulent layer. I'm gonna use this liquid glue here, it's just easy. Okay. You'll already have this layer cut for you. And then we are gonna actually apply this to the card front using Stampin' Dimensionals. Stampin' Dimensionals are something that I use on pretty much all of my cards, so if you ever craft with me, just be prepared, make sure you've got enough Stampin' Dimensionals to last you. And we'll pull those off and layer that right on our card front. If I can get it to center here. There. All right, and now's a good time to be able to put these flowers on. Like that. I used our in-color rhinestones that we had to be able to decorate this card front, and they are right here. I actually pre-cut them for people in my class, especially because if I send it to go, I want to make sure that I've included this in your packet. So you can just place the rhinestones anywhere you'd like. And they already have adhesive on them. They're adhesive backed, so that makes it easy. Now for the inside of the card, I did stamp on the inside as well. I actually used the very same stitched Whimsy die, but then I used a larger cardstock piece so that it would just have a little bit of a different look to it. So we're gonna ink up that flower again and just stamp it in the bottom corner. There's no right or wrong when you're doing that. Okay, and of course, I'm sure you have, if you don't have this stamp set, I'm sure you have a flower stamp set and sentiments that you can use at home to recreate something very similar. So the sentiment, sending a card instead of a text, I thought that is such a great sentiment to use. And I'm just gonna stamp right in the middle. There we go. That card is done. I'll just add that to the inside and send that on its way. I love that. So as you can see here with this stamp set, it has that awesome sentiment right there. And then you've got time for a happy dance. That's so great. Just to know, you could always use that. Thank you, I like you, and happy birthday. So this is such a fantastic stamp set and beautiful imagery. I pack this all up and then we'll get started on our next project. Okay. This next one is probably one of my favorites of the 6. And I'm really sad to see these rainbows go because they are just so beautiful. So you're gonna dump out all your pieces. And again, this will not be heat embossed for you. I just did that ahead of the video so that I could save some time on the video. Okay, so we're gonna take I always like to kind of fold our card base and get it out of the way. Okay. Now this piece right here, which is part of the card front, I've actually already embossed that for you, so you will not have to worry about that. And all of the rainbow pieces are already die cut for you, so isn't that great? Now what I'm gonna have you do, everybody's rainbow pieces are a little bit different from the sample here, but don't fret, it'll still come out just gorgeous. I highly recommend that you start your rainbow close to the top, okay, like that, making sure that this is kind of flush to the edge. And then you'll do each layer after that. Add a little bit of glue there. Okay. And if you try to make it line up at the bottom here, as well as line up along the edge here, you'll have the spacing that you need to make it perfect. All right, we'll keep going. This paper that I used for the class is retired. It's actually from the celebration, but the paper coordinated so well with this particular bundle that I had a lot left over that I just had to use it. It's so pretty. So maybe you earn some of this celebration paper as well, and then this would be a great little card that you could put together. So I didn't show you guys the bundle that I'm featuring here. I gotta see if I have it. I do. Okay, so this is the bundle. It's a Rainbow of Happiness, and then here are the dies. So I took this die right here and die cut out 4 different DSP pieces. So even if you didn't have this particular DSP, you could actually use a different DSP that you had and just cut out the rainbows there. And there's other rainbows that you can cut out, and this is a beautiful stitching, not stitching, but it makes a beautiful edge. So this is a great bundle that's unfortunately retiring as well. So sad. And then we've got this awesome cloud punch here. And I took the cloud punch and punched out some DSP that were in the shape of clouds. And some of the clouds were a little bit, they were running over. I don't know how to explain it, but they were like this was the edge, and I didn't want to waste it, so I actually punched that out as well. Let's see here. I gotta think about which way I'm gonna do this. I think I'll do this side and this side. That's not exactly how I wanted it to go, but that's all right. So you're gonna have a cloud that is shaped nicely, and then you're gonna have one cloud that's a little bit, that's some of it's cut off. So don't worry about it. It's supposed to be like that so that you can place it at the bottom of your rainbow. So we'll just go ahead and add that in. All right, just like that. Okay. And then you're gonna have a piece of basic black that's already cut like this, and all you need to do is just add, this is embossing buddy that you can use that's anti-static. And you're gonna take the sentiment, "You make me happy," and ink it up with Versamark. Okay. And then you just kind of stamp straight down. It is sticky, so you might have to pull it off of there. And then if you've got some white embossing powder, I just absolutely love how white embossing powder looks on any darker cardstock. I like to just shimmy and shake it in to the powder. Okay, I never let go of the cardstock. So, and then I flick on the other side. And then there we go. There's our sentiment. And then you've got to heat emboss it. So you're going to use a heat tool to emboss that. And I'll set this to the side then and emboss that later since I've already done it here. Okay. And then I'm going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals to put this on my card. Let's see it here. There's that. And there we go. Okay, and then we'll add this to the card front. The paper that I used as the card base is gray granite, which is really nice. It's a nice neutral color. There you go. And then we've got these little black dots. These are they've got adhesive on the back of them as well. If I can get that off of there. And we'll add this to our card front. I usually use my take your pick tool, but I left it on my crafting table, so scissors work, or your fingernails, whatever you have to get that off. And we'll just add one right here. Let's actually add it up here. There we go. Okay, now the card's almost done. There is an inside piece that I want to stamp. Okay, so on the inside of this, we are going to stamp this sentiment. So this sentiment, it says sending you a rainbow of happiness. It's actually in this, I would call it a U shape, but it's in that shape already. And I have seen some demonstrators take the stamp and actually straighten it out as much as you can, right? To be able to make it a little bit of a straighter sentiment. I love that it's in a rainbow shape here, so we're gonna go with that. And we're gonna stamp that sentiment down there. And then there is a little tiny grouping of hearts. I stamped that in Pool Party, and then this tiny grouping of hearts is in Flirty Flamingo. So we'll just ink that up and stamp some hearts on here. I just think that really added to that. Okay. And then we would just add this to the inside of the card, and then that card is done. So super cute, so simple. Okay, let me pack all of this up and we're gonna move on to the next card. Okay. Here's our next card. A very simple card here. And let me grab my bucket. So the stamp set that I used here is Boughs Blossoms, and it's actually retiring as well. This is one that coordinated with a punch, and the punch that it came with was this one. The punch is actually carrying over, I believe, into the next catalog, but this one is not. So the stamp set is not. So this is a super simple card to put together. We're going to take our thick basic white cardstock and fold it in half. And then this paper is stunning. It is from the mini catalog, and let's see if I can find it quickly so I can show you which one it is, but it's definitely a must-have. I should have flagged it. Let me see if I can find it in the very back. Okay, so here it is. It's the Abstract Beauty, and it's actually in a 4x6 instead of a 6x6 or a 12x12. It's on page 49 of this catalog. If you have this catalog, check it out, or you can actually just type in the Abstract Beauty 4x6 DSP on my online store, and you'll be able to see it. But it's got gold detailing in the DSP, and it's just so pretty. All right, so I had to use it. I'm gonna layer it behind this Night of Navy. It's got several different colors in this DSP. I picked Night of Navy, even though so many different ones worked really well. And then I'm actually going to just go ahead and place this on the card front now and set this to the side. I placed it, make sure it opens right, yep. And up towards the top so that there was kind of an even border around it there. And we'll set that to the side. Okay, so in your pouch, you're also gonna have this. I've already punched out this for you, as well as this piece. So both of these are part of the punch here. So this one is the larger one and then the smaller one. And to just make your life a little easier, you can add the small one on, the one that's punched out in gold, with a glue dot. And we'll just stick that right there so that it shows. Okay, and we'll set that up there to the side. All right, and then you're gonna have a little piece, a little strip of basic white, and you're gonna take the sentiment. The sentiment out of here is the thank you. I love that font. And you're just gonna ink it up And I recommend that you stamp towards the right of your strip of basic white. So I've actually cut this basic white piece so that it fits across this perfectly, okay? So then once you've done that, you're going to also stamp this little flower. This is one of the flowers from the stamp set. It's this one. You can choose that one if you'd like, or again, if you have something at home already that you can use. We're just gonna stamp this. Okay. And then the inside of the card, this is how I actually did it, the inside of the card. And at my class, I actually had a customer cut out another one of these flowers and use it. And I love the way that looks. So I'm gonna do that. So fun to actually learn from my customers. I always get like little tips and tricks that they see that I didn't see. So there's that. So you're just simply gonna fussy cut that out. And when I say fussy cut, for those of you who are new, what it means is to just cut a little white border around the flower. And when you're cutting, try to move the paper and not your scissors. So I'm not gonna go through and cut these both out because I've already done that. I'll set that to the side. And here we go. So we can start assembling our card. I'm gonna start by placing this piece down. I'm actually gonna put it right there so some of it is hanging off. I'm just gonna add a little glue on the back. Just like that. Okay, and then we'll put this on with dimensionals, the sentiment. Right, it's a little bit longer strip, so I'm going to use 3 dimensionals there. And I'm going to place it right here so that some of the DSP and the cardstock are showing through out the bottom. There we go. Okay, and then we're just going to add this on with some adhesive. So I'm just going to add a little adhesive right there, and this flower will be floating for us like that. Okay, I love this card. It's came out just perfect. Okay, so then on the inside, and imagine this is a layout that you can use with so many different papers and stamps. Now let's take our little flower here, or leaf stamp. Now Just Jade is ink that has retired, so I'm sorry if you're interested in this color. Hopefully you've already purchased it, but it has retired. I used it because it actually coordinates with the paper. So just gonna stamp that, and then I'm just gonna add this to the bottom. I actually really like the way that this looked better. So Louise, thank you for that tip. Let's stick that right there. Okay, so you guys can see the difference there. Okay, I like it. Looks good. All right, that card's done. Let's pack this up and move on to our next card. Okay. All right, let's grab this one next. So the Sweet and Simple card class is only $25 to participate, and that is whether you do it in person or to go. So if you wanted it to go, it's only $25. And the reason the pricing doesn't change and that I do cover shipping is because you don't get to use my stamps. So just want to give you a little break for getting it to go and at home. And yeah. All right, so this right here, we're gonna fold this in half. This features the flowering rain boots. This is a bundle. I don't have the rest of the dies. I probably should have brought them, but I don't have the rest of the dies with me, but this is the only one that we're gonna use. This is a beautiful, beautiful bundle. I used it as an add-on class, or I featured it as an add-on class on one of my stamp camps, and it was just really fun to create with it. It's a distinctive stamp, so the stamps and the images are just gorgeous. So okay, what your kit's gonna look like is this. Of course, you know, these we cannot stamp or anything like that and send it through the mail, so you're not gonna get those. I just did that for the sake of the video. And so let's go ahead and let me find the card here. Here's the finished card, and we'll get started. So I did emboss this here for you already, and this is this embossing both of these embossing folders are actually together. They're the smaller embossing folders and they're a duo. So you'll see both of them featured here, which is fun. So let's see. You're gonna have a little strip of basic black, and I recommend adding the basic black. You can do this side if you want, since this is the color Highland Heather that kind of coordinates well. And actually, I think I will do that. I really loved this side with all the different colors, but maybe I'll do it monochromatic and see which one I like better. All right, so let's add a little bit of adhesive to the back here. Okay, and then we'll add our DSP on top of the basic black cardstock so that just about 1/4 of an inch or so is showing. Okay, there's no right or wrong on this one either. Okay, I just like that extra little detail that adds. And then we're going to actually add this directly to the card front. The card front obviously is the one that's embossed. You're going to have this piece here to put on the inside. So I'm just going to add that directly to the card front. And it looks like I've cut it a little bit too big, but that's an easy fix. So I'll show you. And then you see me moving this around. That's the beauty of using liquid adhesive, is that you're able to actually move it around a little bit before it actually sets. Okay, so now you'll see that the back of it here has it was a little bit too long, so you're just going to cut that off so that it's nice and even. Okay, there we go. I probably should have put some more adhesive on the back of the basic black, but that's okay. All right, let's go ahead and add this to our card, and then we'll get this out of the way too. Okay, we'll set that right there. You always want to be confident as to which way your card is opening. Okay, there we go. Set that up there. Okay, so in my original sample, I did not emboss this circle, but I just felt like it needed a little extra, so that's why I did that there. Okay, we're gonna take our some scrap paper here, and you're just gonna stamp the boots. So these boots are right here. This images here are just so much fun. So we're gonna take Highland Heather ink and stamp the boots, ink them up, stamp them down. Okay. And then this actually fits in our mini cut and emboss machine, which I did not grab. Wasn't thinking, but you're going to take the dies and then just lay them over the image like that. And you would run it through our cut and emboss machine, and then out would pop this. Now, if you didn't get the dies, you could very easily just actually fussy cut around the boots, because it's not a hard image to fussy cut around, but the dies just make it so much easier and just really clean edges. Now let's take our sentiment here, and we're going to heat emboss again. So we're going to use a little bit of our powder. I will let you know that even though we don't sell this right now, it's coming. So we've had a chance to already see the new holiday catalog, and there is a great embossing tool kit in there for you, and it includes the embossing buddy. So if you've been wanting that, just hang tight because it's coming. All right, I'm gonna stamp Rain or Shine, I'm Here for You, which is the sentiment, using the Versamark ink. And then we're gonna grab some of our white embossing powder again. Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. Again, like I said, I don't let go of my paper. Some people like to kind of leave it in there, but what I find happens is that sometimes the pressure of trying to get it out, like your actual pressure that you put on there, will smear the sentiment or smear the image that you're trying to emboss. So it's easier to do it this way. Okay, and then just brush off any excess that you see, right? And then you're going to, if you have one of these tools, and here's another sneak peek, this is going to be part of that tool that's coming out. So hang tight, it's coming and it's awesome. Then you would heat emboss this sentiment, and of course I already did it just to save us some time. There we go. And I'm going to start assembling this. So I put this on using dimensionals. So let's grab, if I can find my dimensionals here, grab some dimensionals and stick them on our boots. I'm really excited because this week I had an opportunity to go and purchase some brand new tables for the studio. The tables that I have here in the studio are actually, this is so crazy, but when I first got into Stampin' Up, I had a house in Indiana, and I was finishing the basement of the house solely to be able to teach classes. And so I taught classes in the basement of my house in Indiana, and I bought all of these big, heavy brown tables that I use there. And when we sold that house in Indiana, I had to go up and retrieve a lot of the stuff that I had there. I had all kinds of like Stampin' Up stuff that I had there, and just a whole slew of things. And in the garage were all of these big brown heavy tables that I had, and it came with perfect timing because I just opened up this studio here in Sumter and I needed tables. And so it was great to have those tables and be able to bring them back down. But the tables are dark and they're clunky, and yeah, so I've been wanting and really hoping and wanting to be able to upgrade and get some of the nice easily portable white resin tables, and so I just did that recently, and oh my gosh, what a difference it's made in the studio. And I cannot wait. I can't get this bow to straighten out, so I'm just not going to fuss with it. All right, there's that. There we go. I am just really excited for you guys to be able to come and check it out here in Sumter at one of my classes, and so that you can fall in love with all the new things, the upgrade. All right, so now we want to do the inside of the card, and we'll open this up here. So we've got these really pretty flowers. The flowers here are designed in such a way so that they fit perfectly over the boots. So you'll see how it's got those two levels there. So that fits perfectly over the boots, but since we're not doing the boots here, then I wanted to, let me grab some scrap paper. I wanted to stamp so that you can't see that distinction there in those two different levels. We're just going to ink this up. This is Mint Macaron, is the ink that I'm using here. And I am just kind of bringing it down as far as I can. Okay, so you can see that now you can't tell that there was that different level there. Okay, there's that. And then we're going to take the Highland Heather and let's see, where is it? Oh, here it is. We're going to take the Highland Heather, and I thought these were roses, but I was corrected that these are actually tulips. They look like closed roses to me. So we're just going to hover over this since this is photopolymer and you can see right through it. These little tulips will fit. They're designed to kind of fit over, well, I probably should move that down, but you get it, right? So there's the inside of the card. I just think that that's so pretty. And then we will just add that to the inside here. I'll do that later. So it looks great. Now you guys will have to tell me, which card do you prefer? Do you like the one that's monochromatic, or do you like the one that has a little bit more of the detail with the flowers? I think I'm still leaning towards this. I like that it's got the black outline, and that's kind of the reason I pulled the black in to this card, and so I just really like the way that looks. Okay, let's clean this up. Flowering Rain Boots, I'm telling you guys, this is a beautiful one. Don't miss it. And we'll move on to our next card. We've got 4 cards down, 2 to go. Trying to go as quickly as I can. Okay, let's do this next one. So I did do a lot of fussy cutting during class, and I know my customers don't love fussy cutting, but I felt like it was almost a must with some of these projects to really make things pop and look good. So here we go. We're going to use Kite Delight. Kite Delight was another standalone stamp set. It didn't have a die and it didn't have a punch that went with it, but we do have that cloud punch that I showed you earlier that would look good with cutting out some some clouds here. Again, this will not be included, so your kit's going to come looking like this. And we're just going to fold this one, get it out of the way. And I took some of this blue, this is actually Pacific Point DSP, and we're going to add that right across the center. Okay, can't tell if I got that straight or not. Set that to the side, and then we're going to take this. Oh, I do need that. We're going to first of all stamp again our sentiment first. You always want to make sure you have room for the sentiment. And let me find it here. The color that we're using here is Fresh Freesia. It's a beautiful kind of a light purple color. And I am going to choose to place my sentiment right there. Okay. Another Year Flies By, Happy Birthday. This would be a great card for, and for anyone really, but it just reminds me kind of a kid card with the colors and whatnot. But we're going to take our Pacific Point ink. This is such a vibrant, bright blue. Ink this up, and I'm just going to start by adding some clouds here. Some of the clouds will be covered up by the kite, so that's fine. We don't have to worry too much about it. Okay, just add that. Maybe one here and one more. There we go. Okay, and then we've got the little kite tail. This is part of the stamp. Okay. I wish I could have fit more of the kite tail on this card, but I couldn't. So we're just going to kind of add it right in there. Okay. Now, while I have this out, you're going to have to stamp the kite twice on some scrap paper. So you're going to want some scrap paper. Okay, let's see if this is scrap paper. I think it is. And what you're going to do is just ink up your Pacific Point. And you're going to stamp that straight down. Because this is a larger stamp, you want to make sure that you press and give it a nice, even, firm pressure. And I can see that the middle actually didn't. Okay, I could tell that the middle was not stamping very well, so I just kind of rubbed on the bottom. And then you can see there that it's a pretty good image. You're going to need to clean off this stamp. And let's see, I thought I had my chamois. Here it is. Okay, so the chamois is great because all you have to do is wash it with water. That's it. Some people do wash it with soap and water. I just never have, and it seems to work fine. Once you rinse it with water and it rinses clear, then it's good to go. It's ready to be able to use again. Okay, the next kite is going to be with Fresh Freesia. So I'm going to do the same thing. Stamp that. So I don't know if you can tell with the camera here, but right there in the middle, I can tell that that has not made good contact. So I'm going to go ahead and rub. I'm just rubbing on the middle there. Another thing you can do is just press a little bit harder. This mat that I'm using has some foam on it, so that's why I'm using that. But you could also use our foam pads that we sell. This is our Stampin' foam. That's like our paper piercing mat that is perfect for using with photopolymer. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to mention is after you rinse this clear, I actually just store them right into one of our clear cases. I've put some DSP around it and put like the information about this Simply Chamois on the top, but you don't have to do that. Okay, so then what you're going to do is you're going to fussy cut out one of these, and then the other one you're actually just going to cut out the whatever 2 triangles that you want. Okay, so say I wanted these little Fresh Freesia dots, right? I would just cut this right out. This is the time that you actually don't want that extra white edge. And then I would actually take this if I were to use this. Okay, we'll use it on this one. I would replace the Pacific Point. So after I've cut out this one, I would then glue this on there. And what you would get is a 2-tone kite. Okay. That technique that I showed you earlier where you can like color with the markers, you could do that. However, when I tried it, it just didn't have the same crisp look, and it was just a little bit more cumbersome. So I went with cutting out and paper piercing. All right, so we're going to take our Fresh Freesia. This is our Stampin' blends this time, not the Stampin' Right markers that we used earlier. And I'm just going to take the brush tip and just add a little bit of color, okay, to all the clouds. So I would color all of the clouds like so, and then also go in here and color the kite tail. If you were to use the Stampin' Right marker, it would not look as nice as this. It would actually try to add color on top of the image. So then when you look at it, instead, like the Fresh Freesia, the Pacific Point is the color is popping through. If you were to use our Stampin' Right markers, it would kind of compete with it and it would be a little bit more muddied. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Anyways, so you would color all of those to add that dimension to it. I placed this on here just directly onto the card front, but I popped up the kite using Stampin' Dimensionals, okay? And then we added some of these rhinestones here. These are our iridescent rhinestones. They are amazing, and they pick up different colors for you, so whatever you're using, it really kind of coordinates with it well. All right, let's look at the inside of the card here. So then I just chose a different one of the kites. I used this one right here to be able to stamp the inside. So we took the sentiment, wishes for a carefree day. Okay, so now I said that this was kind of a kid card, but the sentiment makes me lean more towards an adult. Because I'm pretty sure kids already have a carefree day. At least I hope so. Okay, so let's stamp that sentiment right there, leaving some room for the kite. That was in the Pacific Point, and then we're going to grab the Fresh Freesia to be able to put this different kite in there. And of course, I could have stamped it in Pacific Point and then colored it with Fresh Freesia, however works for you. And this did give me another opportunity to use that kite tail. All right, let's grab that kite tail. And stamp right there. Okay, there we go. Easy peasy. All right, and then that would just go on the inside of the card. I'll finish these cards up off camera, but just so that you can see the finished product here. And then there's the inside. Okay, guys, we got one more card to showcase. All right. So this was a fun card. I love the colors. I thought those were unique and different. And it just reminded me, I don't know, of the Southwest. So that's why I went with it. Okay, so this is actually Calypso Coral cardstock as the base. And then we're going to be using Very Vanilla as our neutral color. So this is the stamp set. It's called Cactus Cuties, and it is really adorable. And this actually has a punch that coordinates with it. I didn't use the punch this time. I should have probably, but it's super adorable. And this piece is already embossed for you. So this is So Saffron that I've embossed using I think it's called Painted Texture. I can't quite remember, but it's just a really neat embossing folder. So we're gonna just stick that on the card front. I didn't line that up very well, did I? Okay. Wowzers, I'll have to fix that later. Okay, there we go. Now the smaller Very Vanilla, you're gonna get two pieces. The larger one goes on the inside. The smaller one here is what we're gonna stamp on for the sentiment, and the images on the front. So let's grab our cinnamon cider. I believe this one is, this color is actually recently retired, but you can use any kind of brown that you want. And then Just a Note is the sentiment. So again, I'm gonna recommend that we stamp the sentiment first. Just gonna stamp it on the bottom there. So cute. So cute. Okay, and then we are going to stamp a little, let me actually bring this in so you can follow along with me. So we're gonna ink up this flower pot, and we're just gonna stamp one kind of to the right, or I'm sorry, to the left. Oh, I didn't think about it, but hopefully there's enough room for my cactus there. The cactus, or the cacti, is going to be in Mint Macaron, so I'm using this color again. It's a good one. Take this image. Let me make sure I can see what I'm doing here. It's photopolymer, so I can kind of line it up. Yay, it fit. Okay, there we go. Oops, oh well. And then we've got a little flower here, And then this one I actually stamped in Calypso Coral. This is the same color as the card base. So let's add that little flower on the top. Perfect. I love these photopolymer stamps where you can just absolutely see right through it and know what you're stamping. Okay, let's grab another flower pot. So we're going to use this one with the lines across it. And we're just going to, ooh, I could tell I need to re-ink these stamp pads. We had a nice class for Sweet and Simple, so these stamps and ink pads were well loved. Okay, there we go. Must have had something on there. Okay, so then we're going to stamp that, and let's put our little cacti on the top. There's that one. And then there's also a smaller one that you can add on. Okay, so I did not leave myself enough room for that little flower, so we're gonna put the flower on the other end. I actually don't know what the rules are with these flowers. Maybe that's not what you're supposed to do, but we'll just do that anyway. Okay, there we go. Now I have actually already stamped and cut out, but I'll show you if I have some scrap paper here. There is another little flower pot that I'm gonna stamp in So Saffron, and I'm just gonna stamp it right here. Okay, and then because I can see right where I'm stamping, I'm gonna take the little plant here and I'm gonna kind of hover over and try to get it as close to it as possible so it looks like it's in the pot, and it looks like I did it. Then I would fussy cut that out, and once you've done that, you're gonna get this image here. Okay, let me close up these ink pads before I stick my finger in it. Or actually, before I do that, let me go ahead and stamp the inside. So on the inside of this card, I decided to make a larger cactus there. Let's grab this. I think this is the inside. Yep. Okay, so we're gonna grab that pot again. Stamp it down here at the bottom. I actually have a little bit too much ink on this side, but I really like how that looks. It almost looks like it's shaded, right? And then open up this mint macaron again. Let's see, that's not the one I use this one. Decided to do something completely different than I did on the front. So we got that one. Okay, looks good. And then we've got a couple little ones that we can add. Looks like Mickey ears. So cute. Okay, and I think I left myself enough room. I can put that little flower on top in Calypso Coral. Okay, I love that, you guys. Love how that turned out. Okay, let's put this card together. And this is actually our final card. I hope that you guys hung in there with me and that you enjoyed this card making tutorial. So what we're gonna do is just add this on using some dimensionals. If you enjoyed this, please definitely like, comment, and subscribe to this video. If you are interested, I actually have 2 of these kits left over. So I have 2 kits that include the 6 cards, and it's going to be a first come, first serve kind of thing. Just, I'll leave the link where you can register for it. Once I've sold both of them, I will just turn off the registration, okay? And next month, I'm trying to remember, I think our next class is on the 17th and the 18th of June. So if you're local to me, mark your calendars for that. I will be opening up registration really, really soon. And then also, if you're somebody who is to go, but you love to get these little kits in the mail and just put them together, it's a very quick and easy way because I've done all the cutting and the prep work for you. So you can sit down and like watch, I don't know, Hallmark or another one of my card making videos and just enjoy yourself. All right, and then we'll put this on the inside and that card is done. So let me go ahead and grab all of the cards. And as a reminder, these stamp sets that I featured today, they are all retiring. So they are going to be available while supplies last. Okay, so I'm missing a card. I always am missing one card when I go to close out. So which card are we missing here? The kite. Let me find that one. And there it is. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Definitely let me know if I can help you with any of your paper crafting needs, and I am looking forward to seeing you again soon in the next video. Have a great day. Bye-bye.